Hi, it's Kevin Lobates, and this is video number 2 in which I'm looking at the double spend problem and the 51% attack. So last time I talked about the double spend problem and that Bitcoin was the first decentralized solution to that problem. So now I'm going to talk about the 51% attack. And in order to understand that, what you need to realize is that the chain of blocks that constitutes Bitcoin, and therefore the ledger of who owns what, is decided based on which one had the most work put into it. So if you have two possible choices for a block or a chain of blocks, the nodes will pick the chain that had the most work done on it. And it's the miners that are doing work on each block using their mining rigs, say ASICs now. It used to just be laptops. And therefore, the way that a 51% attack works is that, let's say I woke up tomorrow and found out I had slightly more mining capacity than all the rest of the Bitcoin miners in the world. What I could do is mine blocks, and I would be successful about 50% of the time, and I'd be getting 50% of the rewards from now on. But what I could also do is I could mine a second chain in secret, and then I can do two things. Firstly, I will get all the rewards, so that makes that more profitable. And secondly, I can actually do a double spend attack. And what I do is I send a Bitcoin transaction to somebody in return for some goods, and they send me the goods, but in secret at the same time I mine a parallel chain in which I do not include my transaction. So once I've received the goods, I then announce my alternate chain to the one that everybody thought was the real chain, and then according to the consensus rules of the Bitcoin blockchain, my chain becomes the true one because I've put 51% worth of effort into that chain, and the other 49% has gone into what everybody thought was the real chain. My chain has more work put into it, therefore mine is the truth. And as a result, somebody accepted my Bitcoin and then wakes up one day and finds out that they never actually got it. In a sense, it's almost like history was rewritten. So that's a 51% attack. Now, there is a subtlety you have to understand here, which is that mining is a probabilistic thing. So if I have 51% of the hash power, it's not guaranteed that I will actually find blocks that with more difficulty than the other chain that only had 49% of the hash power put into it. It's likely, but it's not amazingly more likely. If I have 99% of the hash power, then it's pretty much guaranteed. And actually, there is a small but real probability that with just 1% of the hashing power, if I was very, very lucky, I could produce a chain that had more difficulty in it than the accepted chain, and would therefore be able to use that to replace the original chain. So when it says 51% attack on Bitcoin, it's not actually that if you have 50% you can't do it, and if you have 51% then you're guaranteed to do it. It's more of a sliding scale. And in fact, if you had a third of all the world's hashing power, then you would have a sort of 1 in 3 chance every time you made a parallel chain of successfully replacing what everybody thought was the accepted chain. And of course, blockchain purists will say, well, there's nothing wrong with this. You're following the rules and it all worked out okay. But I would argue that the intent was there to defraud by submitting a transaction and accepting the goods and then rewriting it. So this is where you get a disconnect between what the technology says and what people feel is right. And of course, technology has no morals, it just does what it's programmed to do. It's human beings who have a sense of right or wrong and fairness, and we're just trying to build a system that seems fair. Anyway, got a bit diverted into philosophy again there, but hopefully you found this summary of the 51% attack interesting and it actually made sense to you. If it didn't, please leave a comment below and I'll try again with maybe a better analogy. I hope that was interesting, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.